Hello and welcome to Dave's Delightful Dishes. As always, I'm Dave, and it is such a delight to have you here in my kitchen with me today. And today is just one of those days, viewers of mine. Today is one of those days where you kind of feel like you need a food hug. And a good way to do that is with some comfort food. And that's what we're going to do today. Let's check it out. So when I'm thinking of comfort food, I think of a lot of things, but one of them, which is one of my favorite foods overall, especially for Italian food, is chicken marsala. So what we're going to do is we're going to make chicken marsala with broccoli rabe and, as it happens, some pearled couscous. But you can choose for starch any one you like. We'll talk about that later, but let's start off with the broccoli rabe. Now, this is a slightly bitter cousin to broccoli. And as you can see, it's somewhat big. And what we're going to do is we're going to chop this down. But we also are going to look at all the different ingredients that we have with this for the whole dish. And they are here. And all that's going to come together and make a great meal for us. But the first thing we have to do is we need to break this broccoli rabe up a little bit. So I got a knife. I've got my pile of broccoli rabe. I got to get this back woody stem off the bottom. So all that's going to go out of the way. And here comes a bowl. And then I'm going to make 2-inch cuts starting at the top. 2 to 3 inches. We're just trying to break this stuff up a little bit. So on these size ones, that meant that I get 3 piles of vegetables. So all this is going over the cooktop. I'll see you over there. So we're starting off with some boiling salted water here. And what we're going to do is we're going to blanch this broccoli rabe real quick. Which means I'm going to take this that we've cut up and gently, without spilling on myself or splashing myself, I'm going to put this into the boiling water. Got to give it a quick little stir around to make sure it all gets in. And we're going to blanch this for about a minute. See how bright and green it's getting already? We're just trying to give it a start on its cooking. And this will also kind of help take some of the bitterness out. So we're going to let that get back up to a boil, and then we're going to blanch it for about a minute, maybe 2. Okay, about a minute has elapsed, and you can see how nice and green this stuff is. So I've got a baking sheet with a paper towel on it, and I'm going to use this spider. I'm just going to let that drain, at least mostly. And that's now going onto this baking sheet and the paper towel, just to kind of let it dry out a little bit. And you can see it's already given some color to the water. So now that can be done ahead of time. Doesn't have to be done at that exact moment. It can be done a little bit before you start cooking so that it's ready for the next step. But now that that is there, we're going to move on to the chicken. Okay, well, we're going to make a dredge for our chicken here. So I've got 2 cups of all-purpose flour, a half cup of oregano, a half teaspoon of oregano, a half teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And this, you can put it in a bowl and you can dredge that way, but I like the old shake and bake method. So I put in my plastic bag, I put in my flour and all of my other ingredients here. Give it a quick seal, and I'm going to shake it up to combine. And I'm going to open it back up so I can have it open before I get to chickeny hands. One of the nice things about Ziplocs these days is they seem to have a gusset, and I can literally just go like that, and now the bag is ready to have things dropped into it. And now, chicken breasts, boneless, skinless. Now you can get a full chicken breast, cut it in half, and then take a meat mallet and pound the heck out of it until it gets to about a 1/4 inch thick. But my grocery store has chicken cutlets, which is a chicken breast that has been cut to a 1/4 inch thick. So now I have the equivalent of 2 chicken breasts here that are in 1/4 inch slices that I can drop in to this bag. I'm using 4 here, but depending on the size of your meal and how many people you have, you can adjust it therein. And remember, this is chickeny stuff. So once I'm done shaking this bag, I'm going to wash my hands. Get that out of the way. Leave some air in the bag. And really get in there and shake that up. Make sure you got full coverage. Very nice. So now this is ready to go over there. I'll see you at the cooktop. So I've got my deep-sided saute pan, and it is heating up right now, and I've got 4 tablespoons of butter and 4 tablespoons of olive oil. And I've got to let that all melt and come together here. Which really shouldn't take very long because it is a hot pan. And while that is heating up, we are getting our chicken ready. And the flour that is dredging the chicken is going to help make our sauce. So you want to make sure you've got full coverage. And you see how quick this is starting to get ready to brown. So I'm just going to go ahead and start throwing chicken on. One piece. Two pieces. Three pieces. And here comes the 4th piece. There we go. I'm going to use something that's not my finger so I don't burn myself. I'm going to put it to medium, kind of medium-high heat. And we got to let this saute, letting this fry. We're trying to brown it on the bottom. So we got to keep an eye on this. Watch how this is cooking. And when it's brown, we're going to flip it over. So this is going to probably take 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. I'll get back with you. So that was about 2 minutes. And you can see that it's browning at the edges. So we're going to take a little look, make sure. Yep, and a little bit more on that one. Yeah, that's a lightly brown right there. That is also lightly brown. These are looking real nice. And there we go. So now these 4 are flipped, and it's time for us to add this cup of sliced mushrooms. And I try to slice them pretty thin. When I did my test kitchen on this to see if I liked how this recipe would work out, I used pre-sliced ones from the store, and they just were too thick. So I bought the full mushrooms and sliced them myself. And now I have 3/4 of a cup of Marsala wine. I got to bring this down to a simmer. Kind of stir all this stuff in. And now I'm going to put a lid on it. Get my other burner going. Medium. And I'm going to flip this over. And that's going to have to go for 10 minutes. I'm going to add 5 minutes. I'm going to give those chicken breasts a flip. In the meantime, here is my other saute pan, because we're about to put some broccoli rabe in there. I need to put in 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And we're letting that warm up a little bit here. And let me get my broccoli rabe. Now you can optionally with this recipe, you could add red pepper flake if you wanted to. But since I'm doing this with chicken marsala, I didn't want it to be too spicy to overheat it. But I do have 3 cloves of garlic minced. And we're going to get that in there. Give it a stir. And we're just going to stir this on kind of medium heat until it browns a little bit. It shouldn't take too long. This stuff is minced pretty fine. And now I'm going to add in, you see it's starting to brown already. Now I'm going to add my broccoli rabe. And I'm going to put a ½ teaspoon of salt in. And we got to stir all that together. We give that a little flip, move it around, put that to low. And now I'm going to get a lid on that too. And that's going to go, let itself sweat down. And we'll keep an eye on it. That should be about 6 minutes. So it will be done right about the time for us to flip the chicken. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. And as you can see, the chicken is cooking quite nicely. So we're going to give it a flip. And you can see the sauce is thickening up nicely. If your sauce isn't thick enough in the next 5 minutes, you can add some more flour and stir that in. But what I like to do, if I'm just trying to add a little bit of extra tightness to the sauce, is I'll take some cornstarch and make a slurry with it and some water and just put a little in and give it a stir, and then the cooking action will make it come back together. So I'm going to lid this back up. We've got another 5 minutes and we're ready for dinner. Okay, this broccoli rabe is finishing up here. I'm going to turn the heat off on it. And then I have a lemon that I put into wedges. I'm going to squeeze a couple of these wedges on right now. This will help cut the flavor and bring out the goodness of this. But then you also want to have some extra wedges on the table in case someone decides they want more. So I put 3 on there. I've got 3 left for the table since it's just me and the wife. And that should take care of that. So this is going over for final plating. And we are almost done with the chicken as well. All right, this is now ready to go. As you can see, the chicken is all the way cooked. This is a pretty thick broth. Now, if you want it thicker, if you want it to be like thick gravy, you can just add some more. Add some of that cornstarch, add some more flour. But this is plenty thick enough for me with what we're cooking tonight. And the flavor is all there. So we're going to bring this over to the we're going to bring this over to the workstation, and we are going to plate. Okay, let's plate this up. So we got our plate. We're going to start with the couscous. Now, I chose couscous because I had some couscous in the pantry that I was looking for something to use, and it's a garlic flavor, and I thought that would be quite nice. You can use orzo. You can use whatever kind of pasta you like, or you can use potatoes. Now, if you're using orzo or any kind of grain like this, what I do is if you're using a box, and most people are probably going to use a box, follow the ingredients, the recipe on the back of the box, but substitute out chicken stock for water. It brings a little more flavor to the party. And then the broccoli rabe. I'm going to get a nice portion of that on the side. Remember, we're doing the rule of thirds here. And then a nice piece of chicken, and I'm going to kind of like overlay that over the edge of the couscous. And then I'm going to get my spoon. And I'm going to get some of these mushrooms and pour them over the top, as well as some of this nice gravy. And I'm going to get that over the couscous as well. And now I'm going to take some chopped parsley, just a little bit, and kind of just make it rain. And I'm going to put a lemon wedge on top of the up here with the broccoli rabe. So then dinner is ready. And my goodness, isn't it delicious? And this really wasn't that hard to make. It seemed like a lot because I was showing you all the things, but none of these were very difficult individually. So it's definitely something you can do at home. And this is one of those classic Italian comfort food dishes that will just really it is a food hug. So I hope this is something you enjoyed, and I hope it's something you try at home. And you know, I really hope you guys enjoy my show. And if you do, please hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, and check me out on Facebook at Dave's Delightful Dishes. You can also check out my Instagram, both of which will be listed below in the description. My Spreadshirt app is available there, where you can get merch from me, which is the like my aprons, coffee mugs. Hey, how about that panda plushie? He'd look good on your shelf. And beyond that, I really hope you guys do well. To my friends in Baltimore with what happened with the collapse of the Key Bridge, this isn't a solution, but hopefully this little food hug will help. And I'll see you guys at the next recipe.